Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review, and today it's a bit of an opportune review really. It wasn't something that I was planning to do, but I needed one of these figures, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to review it. And just before I start the review, I would just like to give a shout out to Sean Lawton for selling me this. Some of you might know him as the Mad Dalek, a very good customizer. But I've been looking for one of these for a while. I bought one on eBay and I didn't notice the name at the time, and it happened to be his. So I just want to say thank you very much to him for selling this to me. Yes, as I said, there is a reason I'm buying this, but I will keep that reason under my hat for now because it's going to be a bit of a surprise, but more will be revealed in future, hopefully. But yes, so I thought, whilst I've got this Dalek, I thought I might as well review it. It's a very nice Dalek. Obviously, I do have... he's a bit covered in dust. In fact, he's very covered in dust. I should have dusted him before I started this video. Never mind. Obviously, I do have the 5-inch version of this Dalek. Yeah, I've been wanting one of these for a while for my collection. I'm not a huge collector of the 3 3/4 inch range, but this certainly is a nice looking Dalek, and it certainly is one that that I think is nice to have as part of a 375 collection. So yeah, it's nicely well packaged. It's a bit of a shame, I have to say, that they haven't re-released a lot of Daleks. For example, I mean, you look at this style of packing. Obviously, with the 13th Doctor coming up, we're going to have a big revamp of the packaging style of things in future, probably. But just this sort of packaging style, it looks really good. And personally, I could really see, you know, for example, I mean, obviously, I know the packaging is tiny in comparison, but, you know, I could really see this style of packaging being reused to sort of re-release, you know, a 5-inch version of this Dalek, or any other Daleks, in fact. So, as much as I'm against the 375 range, and I'm very glad that it has, well, I was going to say officially died. It hasn't. They haven't made an official announcement, but it certainly is. There haven't been any more releases. We haven't had any news of anything. There's been at least one wave that hasn't come out. It hasn't officially been cancelled, but it hasn't come out, so I'm pretty sure that it is dead. Yeah, but I'm hoping that, you know, the way that they, you know, package these sorts of things, I'm really hoping that that they take note of how they did this in future, and they, you know, they look at you know, classic re-releases. And I mean, personally, as well, I think that a lot of people want, I know a lot of people want a lot of Dalek re-releases, specifically the 5-inch version of the Supreme Dalek. And we obviously get the B&M box sets for figures re-releases, which is fine, because obviously, you know, they're very nice triple packs and things like that. But obviously the Daleks don't fit in a triple pack, or at least the size of the normal B&M triple packs. But it really makes me wonder if perhaps CO, UT, whether they're missing a trick here, and as well as doing the B&M triple packs, they start just doing single Dalek re-releases like this with B&M, because you know, COUT, B&M, in fact, if you are watching this video, I highly doubt you are, but if you are, this is the kind of thing that if you got not the 375 version, let me make this absolutely clear, I am not talking about the 375s, I'm talking about the 5-inch versions. But if you got a 5-inch Supreme Dalek re-release like this, just on a peg, and you sold it for, I don't know, let's say $14.99, which is, you know, it's a high markup price. Just want to interject and interrupt myself here. I'm going to say $14.99 a lot. That is not what I meant. I meant to say $12.99. I thought the B&M triple packs, of which I was basing this figure off, were $14.99. It turns out they're not. They're $12.99. Maybe they were sold at $14.99 at a time and they've come down in price, but they are currently on B&M for $12.99, which is still a high price markup for a single Dalek, but I feel like it illustrates the point I'm trying to make. But I just wanted to interject and interrupt myself here just to say that I'm going to say $14.99 a lot, but that is not what I meant. I meant $12.99. But I guarantee if you sold the Supreme Dalek like this, single carded release, just very simple, $14.99, I guarantee you it would sell. I guarantee you, because so many people missed out on getting the Supreme Council Dalek in the first Dalek Collector's set, and in some ways they could take a leaf out of that and re-release the Dalek Collector set with a new, bigger B&M box, but you know, I think doing single re-releases like this would be such a perfect way to do it, because I hate to sound mercenary, but they could charge that little bit more. I mean, most people would sort of want, you know, to pay sort of £10 for a you know 3 3/4 inch Dalek. I think that's sort of £7.99 thereabouts, rounding up to £10 for a 5-inch Dalek. But the thing is, especially with things like the Supreme Dalek, the 5-inch Supreme Dalek, if you sold that for £14.99, people would say that's a bit expensive, but they'd still pay it. You know, I'm not trying to advocate high price markups and things like this, but what I'm saying is that B&M, CO, UT, they want to make money. That's a given, we know that. And the fans want Dalek re-releases such as the 5-inch Supreme Dalek, we know that. So, at the risk of, you know, upsetting a few people with higher prices, if you actually did make a single re-release of the Supreme Dalek, I keep saying the Supreme Dalek, but you could do it with any Dalek. I'm just using the Supreme Dalek as a good example while I've got this one here. Is if you marked it up and sold it at £14.99 as a single carded release, then people would turn around and they would say, it's expensive, but they would still buy it. That's the point. And then you have got two sides who are relatively happy, because, I mean, CO, UT, B&M, they've made sales. They've got things that people are buying. The Doctor Who merchandise, again, whilst it's not new merchandise, it's still old merchandise that fans want. And so, pricing aside, in some places, the fans are happy because they finally got something that they want. So, you know, I really hope that they do sort of learn from doing sort of single card releases again like this, because, you know, it's such a shame in a way that I used to go into stores like Forbidden Planet and other places, and they would have pegs full. Literally, like there was a whole corner often of just Doctor Who figures, and now it's just one or two small things. I think, you know, if they really looked at the figures that the fans wanted re-released, then I think that could be something that would be done again, even if it's single card release. For example, a single carded Anthony Ainley Master. You know, in his suit, not in a, you know, I know lots of fans go, we want him in his full outfit, but if you just did him in his suit, in the normal Planet 5 suit, and you re-release that as a single carded figure, and you put that on a peg, that would sell out so quickly. And just by doing that, just by doing simple re-releases, or even new variants, you know, repaints of figures and things like that, and you did them single carded releases, you could quite easily have a whole wall again of Doctor Who figures that fans wanted to buy and that fans would be willing to pay for. You know, and it's I've gone off on a hell of a tangent here, but I think, you know, whilst I'm looking at this packaging, it's very rare that, you know, I look at a 3 3/4 inch figure and I think, oh, it's a 3 3/4 inch figure and there's the packing and there's the figure. But looking at this, maybe it's because it's the Supreme Dalek that's evoked it, but I really look at it and think this, as much as I love the box sets, I love the B&M box sets, and I love some of the other box sets they do, and I love the you know, the recent re-release, you know, the releases of the Series 9. I love the box styles that they've got, those with, you know, the actual sort of square box with a see-through, you know, sort of box shape. Things like this, it still looks fantastic, and it you know, and it really makes me look at this and think, there's nothing wrong with the boxes. I love the boxes, keep doing the boxes, but also maybe do this, because it would work and it looks fantastic. Even as a 375 Dalek, if you did this in a 5-inch Dalek, it would look so eye-catching on a peg. I really think that it's something that they need to pay attention to in future. But let's push that to one side, because I get the feeling now that's going to take up the main portion of the review. So let's actually have a look at the figure. Now, I only have the one of these, so I will have to unbox it. I know people like unboxing shots. I don't really tend to do them on camera, but let's see what I can do. This is where I slice my hand open, or something. And we have our Dalek out. Let's put the package off to one side. And here is our 375 Dalek. Now, I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly. It's very rare that I tend to do this in the middle of a video, or I try not to. And I'm just going to bring in my still slightly dusty 5-inch version. Again, apologies for just moving the camera, because I just want to try and get as much in shot as I can for the purpose of the review. So here we have the 5-inch version compared to the 375 version. It's like a little baby in his mum, but anyway. But this is going to be one of these rare occasions where, as many of you will know, I am not a fan of the 375 range. I have never been a fan of the 375 range, but the one credit I have always had to give the 375 range is its Daleks, and this is very much, I would say, proof of that, because, I mean, I just look at, it's not just the small detailing on it, you know, like the things, I mean, look, if I try and line them up, I mean, obviously, if I move it closer, you see the size difference, but if I try and get it to cut its camera, I mean, there you go, this one's obviously forward in front of the camera, but you look at those two together, and they look almost identical. If I turn it to the side, I mean, they really do look like they could both be the 5-inch versions. That's what's so amazing about it, is the level of detailing on this is just absolutely phenomenal. And it's just, as I said, I'm not a fan of the 375 range, but I look at it and I think, right, I personally, and I want it's very clear, just as I've been saying, like, I heard, you know, CO, UT, Underground Toys, watching this, B&M, watching this video. If you are watching this video, then I want to make it absolutely clear, and I speak, I think, for many fans when I say this, we would rather have the 5-inch versions over the 375 versions any day. That is a given. So if you're looking at these two thinking, oh, well, you know, he's saying this is really good, don't release, if you want to re-release one of these two, always go for this one. Always go for the 5-inch. But the weird thing is, that being said, I get the feeling that the 375 Daleks, if they did continue, not the figures, just the Daleks I'm talking about here, just the Daleks, if they continued to release the 375 Daleks alongside the 5-inch range, so could continue the 5-inch range but re-release the 375 Daleks, it would not be the worst decision in the world, simply because they are just so well detailed, they are so fantastic to just have on a shelf. They don't take up a lot of space, they look brilliant. There's a little bit of a gap in that, just noticed the neck piece is coming out. They look fantastic, and the more I just sit here looking at it, the more I think it's such a shame, in a way, that the 375 range has more or less completely died out, because I don't want the figures, I don't want the play sets, the rubbish play sets. If you want my real opinion on the play sets and the figures, go and watch my Into the Dalek, what I think review. That says it all. But I would personally, I want to see the 5-inch versions re-released, and I want to see the 5-inch Daleks continue. But I would not object if the 375 Daleks continued as well, because I don't know what it is, there is just something about them that nothing else in the 375 range quite has the appeal to me as the Daleks do. They're just very well designed, they're very well detailed. You know, as I said, when you look at them in comparison to its own 5-inch version, you can really see why. And it, you know, it certainly is one that I think really deserves. As much as the 375 range was a bad move by Underground Toys, Character Options, and everyone involved, you know, I honestly can't fault them when it comes to the Daleks, because the Daleks were possibly for me, the Daleks were the top tier, the crowning moment of the 375 range, and this this Dalek certainly is no exception. If you ever get the chance to get your hands on one of these, well, you get a chance to get your hands on either of these, certainly this one, get it. But if you ever get your chance to get your hands on one of these, by all means, I would say get it for your collection. Even if you're not a collector of the 375 range, it's just a lovely looking little piece, and it doesn't take up much space on a shelf. So if you come across one, get it, you know. And I have to say as well, actually, these are becoming quite hard to get hold of. So I would be inclined to say, actually, to get that one, because it could be worth something in a few years. You know, I've unboxed mine now, but I'm not really bothered by keeping it in the box. But you know, the difficulty I had finding this, I'm very tempted at some point to try and get one to keep in box in future, because I really do think that it'll be worth something. But anyway, that is my review of the 375 Supreme Dalek. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. There is an exclusive webcomic and rewards people who support it, and the funding generated by my Patreon helps me fund future videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.